I survived Ark's most obscure map for 150 days. Ark has plenty of maps. Some are part of Ark's main lore, like the Island, Scorched Earth, and Aberration, while others are just fun add-ons like Fjordur, Ragnarok, and Crystal Isles. But I decided to throw all of those out and instead play one that some Ark players probably haven't ever heard of. I spent 150 days on the center, and here's what happened.
Holy no! Oh, dude, it's not even like an actual thing, is it? Too, of course. There's my outfit. Yeah, no! There we go. I'm gonna hit you because I'm not. Because I don't speak Spanish. Oh! No! That'll be long after it's done.
As I loaded into the center, I admired the nice graphics and scenery that I had never seen before, only having ever played the island up until that moment. I spawned in Tropical Island South because it said that it was a so-called easy zone. After seeing a Rex in the distance almost immediately after spawning in, I remembered that Ark's favorite thing to do is lie about the difficulty of spawning things.
Easy my ass.
I saw some moss traps in the area and I wanted one because if you can get a good one early on, you're set on defense for a while. But moss traps are the pickiest eaters you'll ever see in your life. They can ask for anything from tinto berries to giant bee honey to cooked prime fish meat. So good luck trying to find a good one early on. The moss traps both wanted cooked prime meat, but nothing I would actually be able to kill at that stage would give me prime meat. Luckily, the Brontos had killed that Rex, so I could both live and get some prime meat that I could cook for the moss traps. First thing I pumped was weight, so we could get a better inventory going early on. I did the normal beach bobs things like getting a pickaxe and axe. I boosted the resource gathering and respawning rates and taming rates. I harvested the Rex and his arms for hide and the prime meat, and I found out that I had a backyard alpha meg, just swimming around in the tiny pond next to me.
You're like in a lake there, bud.
Now that I had cooked prime meat, I went ahead and tamed the moss traps, and now I had a big lizard to be my guard and beat up all of the dodos that got in my way. I named it Big Bertha, but then I realized it was a dude and changed it to Big Benny. And yeah, like I said, moss traps are kind of broken. But they're not the brightest. They apparently like to walk on campfires and burn their toes to a crisp.
Oh, get out of the campfire.
I went ahead and unlocked the cloth armor because, as you'll see, the weather here is kind of bipolar. It doesn't know if it wants to be burning hot or freezing cold, because one moment it's 97 degrees, and the next it's 30. Moss traps are also good at gathering fiber, so if you have one, you'll never need a sickle. I pumped 5 levels into health and realized that turning the setting that determines how much health your dino gets per level up to 1 is kind of broken. Don't worry, I turned it back down later. I found a level 130 moss traps that wanted cooked prime meat, and I still had some left from the Rex. And how could I possibly pass up a level 130 moss trap as a poor, low-level, homeless beach bob? I spent my next level up points unlocking the rest of that Gucci beach bob fit. And yeah, there was a tech quetzal just hovering above me on day 1. There was no shot I was going to be able to knock that out with a slingshot, so I passed up on that for the moment. Big Lizard Dude is quickly becoming a dodo destroying machine. I wanted to get another moss trap so I could get an imprinted baby and become an unstoppable force. The moss traps around me wanted rare flowers and giant bee honey, which I definitely did not have and was not going to get for a while. They definitely thought they were worth more than they actually were and would probably die to so-called easy zone Rexes after I left. I wanted to get across the water to some land in the distance to explore and maybe build my first base there, but I had to make sure the backyard alpha mag wasn't anywhere near me. There were also plenty of other threats that I had to watch out for because baryonyx and jellyfish would easily destroy me with their stun dismount ability. The regular meg decided it would be a wise decision to attack me and my dodo destroying lizards. He did not live long enough to realize that was a bad decision. I was trying to head off in one direction, but Spino stopped me.
Fuck me, there's a Spino.
Tech Parasaur bit the dust so I could get me some scrap metal, because a general rule of thumb in Ark is that any place where metal nodes spawn is usually a dangerous area, so metal would be a bit of a rare resource at the moment. I wanted to find a good safe spot to claim as mine so I could build my first base and inevitably destroy the lush ecosystem and local wildlife in the area. I found a good spot between 2 rocks with easy access to water and plenty of trees I could use to build my dodo sweatshop for their eggs. I went with a 3x3 thatch hut so I could have enough space for at least a refining forge, smithy, and a bed. And what's a good video without some that's what she said jokes?
Nice size, that's what she said.
Need that bed so me and your mom can have some fun later. I couldn't figure out how to split the whole stack of meat, so I just kept splitting it in half over and over until it was all separated to spoil so I could get some narcotics going. I unlocked the bow and arrow so I could send dodos to dodo heaven easier. Some life-altering questions came to mind and I started rambling about those for a bit.
Is Katy Perry her real name? There's no way that's her real name, right? What does the word quantum mean? Like quantum physics? What is blood oxygen level 2? I don't know if I want the answer to this one, but what are hot dogs actually made of? How does Bluetooth work? Did people have to buy new TVs when TVs switch to color? Why do parents name their kids after seasons? Like you got like autumn over there, then you got like a classmate named Summer, or you got like winter over there sitting in the corner.
Some of my anger points were used to unlock the small crop lot so I could get some narco seeds planted for a constant build-up of narco berries. It is constantly raining on the center, which can be very annoying, but at least my crops are constantly watered. I didn't boost the amount of levels you get from XP, but I still felt like I was leveling super fast, because I was only an hour and 22 minutes in, and was already at metal tier. I could make 30 metal ingots right off the bat, because I got 30 scrap metal from that tech parasaur I killed earlier, and you get 1 metal ingot for every 1 ore smelted. I went on a rant about how some other YouTuber had their hotbar set up, because it was just so weird, and I had never seen anything so awful in my life.
I saw someone the other day put their axe and their pickaxe at, I think it's where my triangle and square slot are. And dude, that tripped me up so much, because I've never in my life seen anyone put their tools there, if ever not in the first 2 slots. And I do not understand why on earth you would do that to yourself.
Moss chops are also very good at gathering that, so I went out and gathered a bunch of that so I could make some stuff to prepare to go out and get me a raptor. I needed plenty of arrows so I could make enough trank arrows to guarantee that I could knock out a raptor or 2. I also needed to make sure I had enough regular arrows so I could turn anything that tried to attack me into a fossil for scientists to discover in a couple million years. I had just a little bit of difficulty trying to put things in my crop lots.
I do. There we go.
After making a few more bolas, I set out to find me a raptor, killing some bugs on the way for Cayenne and destroying anything in my way that was smaller than me, just like any high school bully in a Disney movie. I ended up finding a level 145 raptor and started pelting it in the face with arrows to tame it, as one does. I didn't know the kind of things that spawn in the area, so I surrounded the raptor with wooden spike fences just in case. There was a piranha who needed to learn a valuable lesson about not attacking me, so I encouraged him not to by putting an arrow straight into his ugly ass face.
Yeah, they'll teach you.
There were more raptors up the hill, so I went up there and so satisfyingly one-shot a level 45 raptor that was running at me. I killed the rest of the raptors in the pack, then bowled the one I wanted. My moss chops decided to passively flee and I had no idea where he went, and just could not find him. There was a dilo near my raptor that I thought had messed up my taming effectiveness, so I deformed his already ugly face by pummeling it with arrows. Luckily he didn't mess it up, so the raptor was all good. I spent like 5 minutes looking for my moss chops because I did not feel very safe, with a Theory and a Carno just waiting and lurking in the shadows around me. Eventually found him and killed the Theory, which almost ended my untimely demise because Theories can hit the rider even when they're on a mount, and I did not have very much health. The Theory dropped some prime meat that I used to tame the second raptor faster, and then I had a male and a female breeding pair tamed up so I could make me some baby raptors. I wanted to tame that low-level tech stego, but I didn't think that 13 shank arrows would be enough, and I didn't trust it not to kill me if I didn't get it in a trap. There was a Apache on the way back that I wanted to tame too, but I passed on it for now and would come back to tame it in this tech stego later. I decided that I would make a special breeding area for my raptors just for fun. I went on a tangent about losing my Instagram account while making some raptor saddles in a smithy.
I was trying to put in the password, the exact password, mind you. It said, oh, this is not a username. Then it was trying to send me a code, which there was no code, but it did not send it to my phone number, and I tried this multiple times, and it would just not send me a code to my phone number.
After that, I upgraded to metal tools and made a stego saddle, Apache saddle, and some crossbows. I said that it doesn't seem to get too hot or too cold on this map. I would definitely live to eat those words. The moss chops had the honor of being my pack mule while I was crafting my taming trap for the stego. After I crafted up the trap, I made some more trank arrows so I could knock out the stego and shove it full of berries to make it mine. On the way back to the stego, I absolutely obliterated the living hell out of a baryonyx. The stego took a minute to get in the trap because he has a terrible turning radius and couldn't get around the trees and actually line up with the trap. But other than that, it went out pretty easy. I lost the spiky green booger because it blended in pretty well with the surroundings, but I found it and knocked it out. A raptor came by and was attacking something behind me, but luckily I killed it before it tried going after my Apache. I tamed some dodos to produce poop for me for my crops. I was attacked by a seagull, and after wishing a death upon it and its entire family, I chopped it up into little pieces and fed him to my moss chops. Me and my minions all headed back to base at turtle speed, getting stuck on anything they possibly could. I was going to hatch the raptor egg in my little breeding area, but it was too hot outside, so I had to bring it inside, and I found out that my egg hatching speeds needed to be toggled, because 19 minutes to hatch one egg was not going to work, especially when I needed to make armies for bosses later. In stream 2 I wanted to explore some more and tame a pteranodon or two. I was already level 39, so I unlocked the Terra saddle. I crafted up a full set of chitin from the chitin I got from bugs earlier. I leveled all 6 of my raptors levels into stamina so I could run for longer. I spent a while scouting along the beach for some good levels. A microraptor wanted to throw hands and I was down for a fight with the Ark's most annoying creature. It was a long intense battle, but I inevitably beat the microraptor to a pulp. I saw a cool looking ruin and went over to explore it and it looked beautiful. I had to change direction because there was a spino in the way. I found a good level 135 Terra and knocked it out and shoved some meat up its butt to tame it. It got really hot, which was really annoying because I was wearing chitin armor and it does not do very well in the heat. I once again nearly ran into a wreck, so I slowly backed my way back up the stairs like a 2010s PG-13 horror movie. I sneezed very aggressively, which seemed to cause a lightning storm in-game. After that, I reduced a dodo population in half by mass murdering a group of dodos that would probably land me life in prison. I crafted a sleeping bag and placed it down just in case I died because I had seen at least 2 different Rexes in the last 10 minutes and I did not trust the things around me. The pteranodon was almost awake, so I had to go shove some more narcotics up its ass to keep it unconscious. I sent some bugs and raptors to their eternal graves and became him. I realized the chances of having higher level dinos must be buffed on this map because I've been seeing way more high levels than I would have been seeing on the island. At this point I hadn't figured out how to use map markers, so you will see me have trouble finding my base many times in the future. I found a small alcove-like area and it looked really cool, but there was nothing in terms of resources around it, so I decided against building my future base there. I was using that spino as a mile marker on whether or not I was nearing my base. There was a very familiar stone in Parasaur that I definitely remembered being around my base.
I remember that Parasaur too.
I also found a dodo corpse that was totally near my base before.
I remember that dodo corpse.
Eventually I made my way back like the big boy I am. I used all my level ups and unlocked nothing because it was all junk that I didn't care about. I found a crystal rich area that I stopped at so I could make myself a spyglass. There was a lake giving off huge hidden lake vibes that I was very tempted to build at. Considering the first couple things I saw on Lava Island were Rexes and Carnos, I think I'd take a pass on building there. There was a ringed yellow loot job that I wasn't able to open yet because I wasn't level 45, but it probably would have only had ramshackle cloth boots and an ascendant slingshot blueprint anyway. Then I noticed it, the floating island, the coolest thing on the map. There was just a massive floating island in the center of the map with a cave inside, waterfalls flowing down, and a massive lake beneath it. A lot of very bad things spawn on the island, so I definitely wouldn't be able to build here either. There's even a lake inside the cave in the middle of the island. I flew directly into a cave and almost into a pack of Onek. There's a cool looking building on a cliff in the distance that I wanted to check out. The redwoods were in between me and the structure that I wanted to look at, and I did not trust my ability to be able to fly through the redwoods and not get murked by some thylas. Ark decided to blind me with the power of the sun, absolutely beaming me in the eyes. There's an island with a mountain that looks suspiciously like Batman. I later found out that it is actually unofficially called Batman Island. It's even got fire for eyes. The inside was full of lava. Batman must be seriously suffering from indigestion. I spent like 20 minutes trying to get up to that structure only to find out that it wasn't actually even a thing you could get to because it was outside the world border. I tried to hop off to place a sleeping bag, but that didn't end too well.
Holy! This is why I did it. Too, of course.
I tried to spawn at the sleeping bag I'd placed down and again got absolutely shredded into little pieces. I gave up any hope of getting that Terra and any of my stuff back, so I just left that all behind in the redwoods. I respawned back at base and equipped one of my raptors with the animated raptor skin that I get when I die. Now that I didn't have any flyers, I needed to go tame another pteranodon. I could get most of my stuff back real easily. All that I really would miss would be the spyglass and the Terra, of course. A stupid pego came by and stole all my cooked meat, so now I also didn't have any food. I found a level 140 pteranodon, so I bulleted it, knocked out, and then tamed it. I also found a level 145 male, so now I had a breeding pair that I could use to make high level babies. Between streams, I decided I would build the hidden lake-like area and build a house with some dinosaur gates surrounding it so I would be protected. Beavers spawned around the lake, which meant they would constantly be building dams with cementing paste. I wanted to make some cryopods, so I hunted down some ducks and murdered them for their polymer. Apparently a pego thought organic polymer would be a great dinner and ate the duck that I just killed, so now I had to go find another one. After that I needed to grab some crystal. I was pissed off about my TikTok For You page having nothing I care about on it, so I decided to vent like I'm sharing my feelings with my $300 an hour therapist.
I got some major beef with my For You page. Am I getting shit that's in Spanish?
I found a green loot drop that was at a good enough health that I'd be able to use it to be able to craft my cryopods. Then I kept going on about TikTok.
Like, cause I don't speak Spanish.
There was an alpha raptor that I destroyed and got a decent crossbow and pick from. I went back out to look for a female for poop production. I found a level 50 elephant pig, knocked it out, and shoved some berries in its long ass trunk. I made the Fiumia shit up a storm that would make a porta potty look like a 4-star hotel's bathroom. I was fighting an alpha raptor on top of a mountain, but it fell off the edge and next to what would become known as the cave. The cave has the nastiest overspawning glitch you'll ever see in your life and caused me to drop to 1 FPS. I decided to be a genius and go back to try and fight the alpha raptor and got all my armor broken by Arthros.
There's my armor. Yeah, no!
That made me realize that it was probably a good idea to dip. I flew away to an area that I thought would be a safe distance from the cave, but it definitely wasn't.
And they're over here too?
I flew even farther away and was still attacked by floor spiders.
Now what's fucking attacking me? There aren't even many spiders here!
I spent 2 millennia looking for an RG and didn't find anything good, so I went back to base and fixed up my now destroyed chitin armor. Eventually I found and tamed up an RG, and on the way back to base I picked up a level 150 Dodic. I tamed that up and some high level beavers that had spawned near my base. I found a high level moose that was looking near the snow for some obsidian and flew all the way back to base, having to stop many times along the way. I found a massive hole that was likely the gateway to hell and where all my teachers in high school must have climbed out of before deciding to spend the rest of their lives in a classroom. I went back to base to shove some trank darts up that moose's furry ass. Little does he know he's going to be my thatch slave for the rest of his life. I went back over to a level 140 stego I'd found earlier and let it into a trap to tame it. There was a level 145 Equus that was about to be eaten by a Rex that I was so kind enough to rescue and bring back to my taming trap to be imprisoned under my rule for the rest of its life. I tamed up a bunch of tech parasaurs that I'd be able to breed to get babies that I could farm for resources. I would be using sabers for caving, so I decided to go out and look for some.
Holy no! Didn't even see that guy.
I thought that this would be first quest in the walkthrough before the real game kind of easy, but I was very wrong.
Oh, that hurts.
I found a level 140 and wanted to tame it, so I flew away so I could throw out my Argent from its cryopod. That was my first mistake. Then, trying to switch to my crossbow and my hotbar, I accidentally threw out and cryosicked my Terra, and then my Argent just would not help me no matter what stance I whistled onto. My armor broke and I died to the sabers. I respawned out of bed I had placed when I was taming the Argent, tried running back to myself and got killed by hyenodons, respawned back at the base and flew a different Terra back to the floating island to get my Argent and stuff. After a while I found a good level saber and started to fly it back to base. I had to stop along the way to get some stamina and I lost the saber in the swamp for a while. And I must have seriously pissed off a leprechaun because I had to land to get some health back and apparently landed right next to the one area on the map with a massive dire bear den.
Yep, those dire bears definitely killed it.
I found out there was a bunch of obsidian on a little patch of land in the lake under the floating island. And I love to see those beautiful black rocks. Not that there's anything wrong with regular rocks, of course. I crashed and my progress got set back to before I had found that little cave, so I had to go look for another one to bring back to base. I had to use my rifle with some trank darts because I would have killed it if I had tried to knock it out with arrows. I went out hunting for some prime meat to tame the saber with, and I killed a dodo in a way that reminded me a lot of an event that rhymes with Mindful11. The 7 years since I had broken that mirror when I was a kid must have finally come to an end, because I found a good level female saber just wandering around. I worked on mutating some sabers, and the first one I got was a double. I made up a breeding area with some aircons and an egg-laying area for my tech parasaurs. I also industrialized my base with a cryofridge and an e-gen. I wanted to start off on making some kibble, so I went out to tame some dodos for basic kibble, but I had never ended up making any. I kept killing the dodos with my rifle, so I had to Raki 3 the dodos so I could actually get them tamed. I built a greenhouse in the middle of the lake because it was more scenic. I tamed up a megalodon because it was stuck on land in the lake under the floating island. I industrialized the base even more by making an indie grill and a chem bench. I flew over to the floating island to try and find the cave that was inside it, and I thought I had found it. I explored this whole long cave-like area only to find out that it wasn't even the cave. I found some dung beetles while exploring and I tamed them up for some fertilizer. Eventually found the actual cave and threw out my saber to explore it. I was ganged up on by 3 Arthos, which reminded me of my days in O-Block. I got to the bottom of the cave and then climbed up a ramp that got me to the artifact of the Devious.
What one is it? Like the submissive or something? Artifact. The devious. Close enough.
I then survived just barely long enough to place a sleeping bag before I died of hypothermia.
There we go. Oh my god, that was so close.
Then I worked my way over to the cliffside cavern for the artifact of the cunning. This cave was pretty much the ice cave. It had no threats and was beautiful and had an underground ice castle with a river running through it. I explored the ice palace for a while and then went and got the artifact, which was in the back of the river in the middle of the palace. I wanted to explore the ocean a bit, so I cryopotted my Bassie and threw it out in the ocean, not remembering that I had just thrown out my dung beetles in my greenhouse. The Bassie got cryo-sicked and then was eaten by a megalodon. Very big brain moment for me right there. So I took out the meg instead and went looking for another Bassie to tame. I found a level 145 that I started to tame up with some prime meat. I then spent hours working my way through the cave. It's pretty much all lag and just annoying in general, so I'll spare you the nuisance of watching too much of that and just show the not awful bits. I spent a decade and a half trying to clear out the megalosaurus guarding the entrance. It turned night, so they woke up and I thought I could take them. I definitely couldn't. But for once I'm glad I crashed, because the crash had sent me back to a point where the saber and I were still alive and not sitting in the megalosaurus' stomach. Then I decided to go back to base and spend some time gearing up for the cave so I'd be a little better off. I crafted up a green pump shotgun, some ammo, and grabbed a few extra pieces of armor. I spent another decade re-clearing out the entrance, and then the beginning of the cave. I saw the most Australia type shit ever when I ran into a bit of the cave with probably 100 megalane in it. I never ended up getting the artifact that day. Off camera I built a bigger stone base because I was outgrowing my other base and needed something bigger that would hold more things. I wanted to do more caving, so I flew over to Lava Island to do the Lava Oasis cave, and I was definitely shocked when I entered and saw what was going on there.
Oh, they got a nice going on down here. Oh, they're living the good life.
I accidentally jumped off the edge of a cliff.
Oh, we're good. We're all good. It's just shallow.
I made my way through that little lake and over to the artifact of the hunter and snatched that thing right out of there. I don't care if it's a massive scientific discovery, I just need to fight the big monkey man and the spider mommy. Then I went through the cave again to try and get the artifact. I decided to finish it off camera and it took ages, but I was finally able to get the artifact, which was underwater, so I had to grab my Bastie and some scuba first. I brought it back to base and put it and the rest of my artifacts into pedestals because it looked really cool. Then I went out looking for some high level Rexes to tame for boss fighting. I remembered finding a level 168 Tech Rex the other day and went back to Lava Island to tame it. I had just a little bit of difficulty trying to get it into the trap, but I got it in and knocked it out.
Bro, come this way. Come here. That isn't right. Wait, what if I just sit here? Will you get in this trap? No. Because you're an idiot. There we go.
Didn't know if things attacked unconscious Rexes, so I googled it and Google said no. And Google's always right, so I didn't put spikes around it. But when I got back to the base and realized it wasn't on the tracker, obviously something had happened. And just like two gay guys having a one-night stand, it got its ass eaten and was not there when I got back. I found a level 140 regular Rex and thought I had trapped it, but I definitely didn't.
Oh fucking god, shit! Fuck, no! Fuck! That could have gone so much worse.
I tamed that one and a few more up.
Oh my god! It's a blue beaver! Oh, it's blue and yellow and orange and green! No! 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 Oh, I wanted that beaver! Oh, I'm so sorry, beaver! You were too precious for this world.
The next thing I wanted to do was the hard ice cave. Very cold in there, had very strong yetis, underwater sections, and an area where you literally wouldn't be able to escape from unless you brought grappling hooks. As soon as I got in there, I was getting destroyed by yetis. After I cleared out the entrance, I had to go underwater for the first artifact. There were two artifacts in this cave, the artifact of the Clever and the artifact of the Devourer. There were two tunnels in the underwater bit. One led to the Clever and the other led to the Devourer. I swam through one of the tunnels and led things over to the water so I could dominate them with my Bassie.
Yeah, this is better. I like this. Let's knock you off. No! Ah! Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me, that ain't mine. Woo! Holy shit, that could have gone so bad. Not a fan of what just happened there.
I climbed up the massive ice stairs to get to the artifact of the Devourer, then moved on to the other artifact. I made a nearly fatal accident by not knowing the controls for the grapples.
Fuck, that was not how you were supposed to do that. It is the other trigger. It was very much the other trigger.
I just barely survived off cooked meat and blood packs. That drop led to a massive chamber with icy steps that led up to the artifact. I moved on to the lava cave to grab the artifact of the massive and the strong. Except for getting lost a lot, it went pretty smoothly. I wanted to get most of the caves done, so I decided to explore the beneath and go get the artifact of the pack from the jumping puzzle cave. The first part of the cave was a little bit icy. I got through that pretty easily, and the next part was pretty much the overworld but underground.
Look at this. It's got trees and everything. Is that... There's a Bronto down here. There's a whole ecosystem down here. Oh, this must be the pit, right? It is.
I explored that a bit, but eventually died from the cold. Thankfully I put down some sleeping bags. I decided to use the most of the little life I had left by extracting my blood for blood packs that I could use for later. I had a little trouble finding the jumping puzzle, but eventually I found it across the flooded part of the cave. I spent ages trying to get the artifact the legit way on camera, but I'm not going to show that because all that resulted in was rage and a lot of death.
Fuck, I'm already dead. Okay. Okay, never mind. Oh, stupid of me. Oh, no. Oh. Bada boom. Bada dead. Would give me some hope. There are so many meads down here. Don't talk to me. Loser, lame-o wannabe.
I just did it the not legit way off camera. In this stream I wanted to tame some cave dwellers, and I found some Arthurs in the center island cave that I wanted, and I spent a while trying to knock them out. I had a near-death experience when I slipped off a rock that I was shooting off of, and my life flashed before my eyes.
Oh! No! Oh! Ah!
I eventually found out they were a passive tame and ate broth of enlightenment, which I needed woolly rhino horns for, and woolly rhinos only spawned in the snow. I'd wanted a Daedon for ages, but Google said that Daedons didn't spawn in the center, and I hadn't seen one at all, so I decided to trust Google. And again, Google lied to me, because when I was looking for woolly rhinos, I found a prehistoric pig, and it was actually a good level too.
What? Daedons do spawn on this map? Google lied to me. Fuck you, Google. My piggy. Google, you can go suck a fat one. Answer 140.
I wanted one for my boss fight, so I dropped everything I was doing to tame the pig, because that would heal my Rexes in battle. Taming the cute little piggy was a pretty easy task, and everything went smoothly, which was nice considering all the struggles with the Arthros earlier. And obviously there are only two names you can name a pig in Ark: Wilbur or Bacon. I opted for Wilbur. While Wilbur was taming up, I went and got the rhino horns that I needed to tame the Arthros. And I already had a Mastercraft Daedon saddle blueprint, which was fantastic. I was flying back to base when I saw a Diplocalus and brought it back. The Diplocalus is the most forgotten creature in Ark. I put it in my egg hatching area, but I forgot about it and it despawned. I cooked up the broth and flew back to the island. I tamed up a level 145 Arthur that was sitting outside the cave. I went ahead and worked on getting the last artifact. It was in the Eastern Trench, which was a trench that went along the entire eastern side of the map and was very terrifying, dark, and ominous. It was so deep that my Bassie was taking damage just from being so far deep in the ocean. The artifact was barely even in the trench, which was honestly very disappointing, because even though I am terrified of the ocean, I was still hoping that I had to explore the trench at least a little bit. There were anglerfish, dunkleys, and eels everywhere, but luckily my Bassie does an insane amount of damage, and the stun from eels and jellyfish don't do anything when I ride him. Unfortunately, the trench was pretty uneventful, except for a level 25 Mosa. I went back up to the surface and explored the redwoods a bit. I picked up a high-level monkey that I wanted to bring back to the base so I could use it to gather fiber easier. I got jumped by a Thylo when I was trying to leave the evil biome.
Get the hell off me. Yeah. What thought?
At this point I had every artifact on the map, and with all of them on pedestals next to my bed, it looked amazing. At this point I had bred a bunch of Rexes and tamed a UD and another Arthro off camera. I had the Giganto in my breeding area and was trying to tame it, but I accidentally let it out and they are territorial, so when you get near them and they see you, they attack. So when he got out and saw my dinos, he got immediately sent to monkey heaven by my other dinos. I wanted to tame a bigger underwater dino like a Mosa or a Plessy, so I crafted up some trank spear bolts and a harpoon gun and went out looking for something good. I found a low level Tuso that I wanted to tame because it was the first Tuso that I've ever seen before, and I had collected 50 black pearls over the last 100 days. Let's just say that didn't go too well. It went so badly that after I crashed and restarted the stream to go tame that big squid, I deleted the stream from my page. I spent ages off camera breeding and leveling Rexes to get ready for the boss fight, because I had never fought a boss in Ark before and I didn't know what to expect, so I just wanted to make sure I was prepared. On the center, you fight both the Megapithecus and Broodmother at the same time in the same arena. Considering how fast I destroyed the monkey and the Broodmother, I think it's safe to say that I may have been overprepared. After I got back to base, I showed off my new squid Kraken. I spent ages on camera looking for Tusos to kill for the tentacles for tributes for the beta version of the boss fight that I wanted to do next. I didn't find any, so I did that off camera. I already had some of the tributes I needed, so I just needed to farm a couple things and grab the artifacts again. I had a great time in the swamp when a bear decided to stun me off my RG. Piranhas broke my armor, and then my RG decided to hit some beavers, and then of course the beavers went after me and the RG wouldn't get over to me, so I couldn't get on it.
I swear to God, I'm gonna put this RG in a hole, in the ground. And now I'm just very honest. Why can't I fucking get on you?
I spawned back at base and took my first attempt at trying to get my stuff back on a Terra. That did not go well, and I rage quit the stream.
It was working. And how that dude's also a fucking retard, apparently. Huge. Ugly app! This is why I'm putting you down! This is why I'm putting you down! Cause you don't do anything! He's just being euthanized today.
I spent ages and ages trying to get my stuff back and all the artifacts and tributes I needed off camera. I went up to the obelisk, I put everything in, and started the beta boss fight. I dragged all my Rexes and my pick over the monkey and got his attention. He started running over to me, throwing rocks everywhere. Megapithecus fell. The Broodmother was next to fall, and with that, my 150-day journey on the center was over.